It's September. I'm back. I had to just force myself to take a couple of weeks off in the summer. So I'm sorry. I know there were people that have been listening and reaching out on social media, and I just really needed that time to decompress with the family. And we were at a cabin which is off grid, and so there was very little access to social media. So here I am back to start the fall Realtor Safety Month and all the things that are going to keep us safe moving forward into this busy season. Hi there. I thought I would share with you a story today of how somebody slipped me a little something extra into my drink one time at a real estate conference. This is the start of Realtor Safety Month, September, the start of conferences again rolling out and people being on the move. So I think this is good timing. And I'm also heading to a bit of a conference next week in the Okanagan. And I think that there's a few things we can all look out for just to keep ourselves a little bit safer, whether it's a real estate conference or something else. Welcome to the Safe Realty podcast with me, your host, Shannon Cutler. I'm on a mission to educate my listeners so they don't become the next true crime news headline. As a former police officer with 18 years of investigative experience and now a real estate agent, I guide realtors on how to handle their own security in vulnerable situations and develop safe business practices. I can't seem to find time to teach agents how to do anything because real estate has been crazy here on Vancouver Island over the summer. I don't know about the rest of Canada or the US. I'd love to hear what's been going on with your business. If you enjoy learning new tools to improve your safety, I'm going to ask you to follow this podcast, leave a review, and please, even more importantly, share it with people that you care about. Share it with someone that you know that would benefit from listening to this episode. So I promised a story from, I think it was 2 years ago. I was in Las Vegas at a real estate conference, and the actual conference itself had nothing to do with the fact that I was given a little something. So let's take that off the table. It was the reason I was in Las Vegas, and it was the reason I was in crowds of people, which I don't love. Anybody who's been a police officer or a first responder probably doesn't love being in crowds any longer. And I am definitely of that ilk where being in crowds, especially crowds of drunk people, really isn't my favorite. It feels risky. But there is the odd time when 22-year-old Shannon just comes out and she wants to go dancing. So we went to the all conference party earlier in the evening, had some food, had a couple of drinks, and then we were going to head to a nightclub. And yeah, I say nightclub, and I mean an actual nightclub where the music is EDM music. It is crowded. People are bumping up against you. There's no room. It's a kind of place that is a first responder's worst nightmare and a 20-year-old, I don't know, this is not a place for hipsters. This is like bar star environment where you just want to order bottle service and close your eyes and jump up and down on the dance floor because there's no actual songs being played. It's just crazy music. Okay, so we're in line at this nice nightclub, and it's a very high-end nice nightclub. And I think it was the Omni nightclub in Las Vegas, and I'm okay with saying it because I did reach out to them after this happened and no one ever responded to me. So maybe if they ever hear of this episode, maybe they'll respond to me because it's the truth. So I'm at the nightclub. In line, we get into line to get a drink. While I really don't feel like having any more to drink, so I order, I think it was like a club soda and lime. And everybody that I was with, there were like 6 of us, either had drinks or not. So had a club soda, having a good time on the dance floor. And the one person who had bought a round for everybody, I was suggested to me that I go buy the next round for this person who had bought me a drink. So I went up and bought, I think it was like a rum and Coke or something. I want to say it was like $65 for this ridiculous drink. And I got myself a glass of water. But while standing in this lineup, I was in the line for probably 20 minutes, dancing and having a good time. I don't get out of the house very often, so even in a lineup, it was quite exciting to be out and about. And this cute little girl was beside me, and she put her arm around me, and we were having the best time. And it was her 21st birthday. And I'm like, oh my God, I literally am old enough to be your mom. And her parents were with her. They were just around, and they looked younger than me. And I was like, oh my God, what am I doing here? But we had fun. She didn't care that I could be her mom, and I didn't care that she could be my daughter. We were just two girls having a good time. So I get to the front of the line. I get a rum and coke. I am alone. I pay for it with my credit card, and I don't think I got another drink. So just the one rum and coke, and I give it to the person that I bought it for, and it wasn't for me. That person drinks the drink, and he was about 6'3", 200 pounds, big guy, and not a drug user at all. Zero drugs for this fellow. So my husband and I and a couple people go back to the hotel, and I think it's 1 or 2 in the morning. I'm done. I get a call from this girl and her husband, and she said, he's been drugged. I'll call him X. X has been drugged. I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, this drink that you gave him from the bar had drugs in it, and I don't know what to do. So we met them down at the lobby, and it was clear that it was an amphetamine of sorts, or like an upper, because of his huge pupils and his agitated behavior, sweating, increased heart rate, pacing, quick speech, all the things you'd see in something that is an upper, not a downer. And I thought, this is really weird, because typically when somebody's given a drink with a drug, it's a downer to incapacitate them for typically a sexual assault purpose. Well, this wasn't the case. This was an upper. This was like a Hulk out upper. And the ambulance came and checked him out. He was fine, but he was affected by this drug, I don't know, for another 5 or 6 hours. Again, he's not a drug user, so it really, really affected him and bothered him for quite a while. The next day, my husband and I had gone to some cool thing that we found in some random location in Vegas, as people do, and we were picked up by a cab driver. And somehow this conversation came up about what had happened the night before at the Omni nightclub. And the cab driver said to us, that's a scam that some of the bartenders or bar staff use at different places throughout Vegas. What they do is they throw an upper stimulant, I should be clear, a stimulant into your drink, and then a person hands them their credit card. Sometimes we'll say, keep the tab open, leave your card there. Many people do, especially in some of these higher end nightclubs, and they go. With a stimulant, that means you stay awake, you're having fun, you want to keep party, and you're thirsty. Stimulants make you thirsty. So a person typically on a stimulant would be having a good time, ordering more drinks, inhibitions are lowered, and you just keep rolling with it, and you keep buying drinks, and you get, I don't even care, I'm having the best time, I'll buy you a drink, I'll buy you a drink. Or what happens is you order 1 or 2 more drinks, and you're kind of messed up from this drug, and the bartender, your bill should be $112. The bartender puts an extra 1 in there, so it's $1,112 or $900, and you don't know because you're messed up. You've either had too much to drink at that point, or you're just messed up from the stimulant they put in. But it is a way to keep you going, keep you buying drinks, and then to add dollars to steal money from you. What am I trying to say? To steal money from you from your credit card. And this cab driver said she said, it was a female cab driver, very helpful. She said it's really common, and it's a scam that was going on in Vegas at that time, and does go on. So this bartender, because I saw the bartender look at me, I remember exactly. I remember even seeing his face. I remember him looking at me. I remember him turning around, getting my stuff for my drink, making my drink in cash, putting my credit card. I remember looking at the bill. It was very clear. It was like $70 or $60, whatever, for this one stupid drink. And no one else touched it in between. It was really, really weird. So he tried to drug me, a person who looked like she was having a good time and had probably had some money and was going to come back or money, or just dumb. Maybe I was having fun and I was dumb, and I was dumb enough to do my credit card. Thankfully I didn't. And thankfully my card didn't end up with any more charges, but that was a scam. So it was really weird. And I tried reaching out to the Omni nightclub to talk about this. and no one responded to me a number of times. So that's a bit of bullshit, I tell you. But the reason I tell you this story is not to talk fully about drug-induced assaults, which we will talk about on another episode. I think I'll separate that altogether. But attending conferences of any sort. I mean, when I go to Vegas for a real estate conference, I walk down this huge conference area of the Wynn Hotel, and there is the dental conference, there's the roofers conference, there's the lighting conference, there's the, I don't know, Denture Builders of America conference, and then there's real estate conference. There are like a couple thousand people attending these conferences every week, in maybe more in Las Vegas. So we're always attending conferences and we're always around strange people that we're mingling with, which is okay. But there's a couple things we can do to keep ourselves safer when at a conference. You know, we don't need to be paranoid because that's not fun for anybody, but being wary and being just a little protective of your personal identity and your personal identification is not a bad thing. So I always suggest to people, do not give your room number out or your room keys. Maybe don't even say where you're staying. But I mean, in Vegas is one of those places where, you know, you go in, there's 1,000 rooms in the hotel. We go to the, Sandman in Oliver or Soyuz or some place, or Edmonton, you're going to have, not very many rooms in a hotel. It'd be pretty easy to track a person down. So I typically suggest to people to not give out their room numbers and definitely don't give out their room keys. I mean, unless you're hooking up that night and that's what you're doing as a consenting adult, that's up to you. When you go into your room, double lock your doors, so you close it and then put the little thing on the back. This is just good practice in any hotel when you're staying there, especially if it's in a little seedier place or there's lots of drunk people around. Drunk people do stupid things. And even if it's a mistaken, like coming into the wrong room, it'd be nice to have a little bit of notice or to have that extra level of protection, inside your room, to have that secondary lock on there. Now, one of the biggest things, and it brings it back to like this thing I had, this drink that was given to me. And there's been other times when I've been with friends or been given drinks that had a roofie or Rohypnol or GHB, as we use in Canada. I've had that in there. That's for another episode. But this drink I saw being made in front of me and was handed directly to me, and no one else touched it, and it went right into my friend's mouth. And so when you say to your kids or your friends, like, don't take a drink from strangers, watch the drink. Well, I watched the drink be made and I didn't see him put anything in it. And I pay attention to that stuff. And I wasn't drunk when I ordered this drink. I had a couple drinks earlier. I was pretty sound. So just remember, when you have your drink, make sure that you open it or you see it being made, you watch it. And if you leave your drink, leave it for any reason. Just get yourself a new one. The $7 or $12 or $25 or whatever the drink is not worth the potential for you to be getting drugged, potentially assaulted, robbed, whatever the case is. It's not worth it. That small amount of money. If you can afford to be at a nightclub drinking the drinks, you can afford to throw that one and water a plant with it and find a different one. And I've asked friends to watch my drink and be like, yeah, for sure. And I come back from the bathroom and see that they're still standing there near my drink, but they're not paying any attention to it. They have their back to it. They're talking to a friend. They've given somebody a hug. They've gone out for a cigarette, whatever the case is. No one's going to watch your drink like you want them to watch it. So if you leave your drink laying around, water a plant with it and buy yourself a new one, even in a group of colleagues or friends, because your colleagues and friends are potentially very trustworthy, but the person coming up to schmooze and say hello is not. Know your surroundings when you're there. It's good in any situation. When you go into a bar, a nightclub, you're in a big conference room, you're having, the all conference get together, a meeting and drinks, or you're leaving your hotel to go pick up dinner or go pick up food. You walk outside and you think that you were in a nice area of town when you realize you're not. So maybe do you take an Uber, get another colleague to walk with you, tell the front desk you're heading out to, is this a safe area of town? Ask the front desk, is this a safe area? Is there any risk for me to be walking by myself to the grocery store or down the road to pick up sushi? It's not a bad idea to take that 1 or 2 minutes to just get a lay of the land, whether you're in real estate or any other business or just, out of town on your own. It's okay to also get into a group of people that you're just meeting. You start probably making small talk, and you want to maybe make connections and network, potentially growing your business. If in real estate, that's what we do. We talk, we share. Some people brag, tell, I do this business and do that business. No one cares how many houses you sold. It's about connecting with people. So how do we connect with people? People typically connect via stories, emotions, and information. And so telling your personal story, it's okay not to tell everything. Keep a few things private to yourself, whatever that might be for you. It's okay not to share your entire life story. And would it matter? Would somebody really care about your life story? No, I guess it depends on the kind of person you're with, because when we sit there and we look into somebody's eyes, this could be male or female, then they may get the wrong idea, not because you're doing anything that would suggest you're giving them an idea of anything further, but sometimes just being nice and having a long lasting conversation, even if it's a little bit flirty or not, can give people the wrong idea. And those people are not you and I, because we're concerned about the safety stuff. Those are people that have other issues that they're dealing with, but they might get the wrong idea. And so, you can have a conversation without laying your whole life on the table and being a little guarded, just a little guarded. We're not saying being paranoid. Enjoy yourself, but like to share a little is a different thing than laying all your private information out there. It doesn't matter if you're in a conference of roofers, realtors, doctors, horticulturists, whatever it is. There are good and bad people in every profession. There's more good people than bad people out there. Most are good. It's like policing. You say like it's like 5% of the population or less are the people you deal with, and the rest of the people in that town or that city or that country are the good people. But it's the very few that always ruin it for everybody else. So it's just a matter of, finding people that you click with. We talk about this in other episodes, and even with each other. I'm teaching my kids about it, but listening to your intuition. If there's a bit of a red flag, or somebody feels like they're a bit awkward or nervous for no particular reason because you're sitting in a crowd, they might just be nervous and not like crowds, but they might also have a little something else in the back of their mind. So if there's a red flag, we always say red, stop, danger, hot, listen to it, and maybe find a way to move away from that person. I think that's really, all we need to talk about. It's just being yourself with a little guard up, just a little, until you feel that it's safe to let the information you want out there. And don't tell people where you're staying or your room number, or that you're alone, that you don't know your way around this town, or, it's the confidence piece that we've spoken about before as well. That will make you less likely for somebody to want to, make you a target. Attending a conference can be great. And this is not a business podcast. This is a realtor safety podcast, but I often just ask people to, because I have had people wander into conferences or courses that don't actually belong there, like the that show The Wedding Crashers. So it's okay to say, hey, do you have a business card? Fred, you got a business card? Oh, you do. Then you look at Fred's business card. Oh, he actually is a realtor from that place. Okay, that checks out. That's great. And now you can put that in your pocket. So if, something weird was to happen the next day and you can't remember Fred's name, well, you have Fred to go back to, or nothing nefarious happens and you have a connection, you go home and you send Fred an email and say, it was great to meet you at the conference. Thanks for the good conversation. Maybe we can do business together. Or this is my podcast. Listen to it. Tell your colleagues about it. You know how it is. While we're talking about sharing with colleagues, share this episode with somebody in your office, another colleague who's driving around listening to whatever they are on their, on their phone. They're going to showings, they're going to an open house, they need a couple tips, or they're driving like I will be next week to a real estate conference. And this is a great way to have bite-sized pieces of good safety information that'll help keep you safer. Thank you so much for joining me today on Safe Realty. Do you have a tip or a story to share? I would really appreciate it if you reach out to me via email or social media. Your experience could help someone else, and I might even be featured in an upcoming episode. Links are all below in the show notes. Leave a rating and review. Share. That's the best way. And again, this is Realtor Safety Month. I've put a call out to people to please reach out to me to share your stories. They can be anonymous when I talk about them on the podcast. Every bit of information and story or incident that's happened with people can make all of us a little bit more safe, and we can help, further this for one another and get each other's back. Take care, everyone. Be safe.